Hi, it's Nicole McGurk for 2peasinabucket.com with this week's From Start to Finish video. This week I have a two-page layout for you. You can see here there are 12 photos that are in a Polaroid type shape. I sketched out a little drawing before I got started. And I'm going to show you the supplies I'm going to use first. I chose a bunch of, I got some white cardstock. This is American Crafts cardstock. And then I'm using some pattern papers from Echo Park's Little Boy collection. Lots of really nice, bold primary papers, and of course, themed appropriately, excuse me, for the page that I'm doing, which is a compilation of photos from my son's first year. I also picked some stickers from Jelly Bean Soup. These are new ones, and also some coordinating die cuts. I'm just going to use little bits and pieces from these that kind of match or coordinate well with the Echo Park stuff. I thought I might use those My Mind's Eye trims, but I ended up not. There is that Polaroid frame. It is from a Lawn Fawn stamp set, which I'm very excited that 2Ps is now carrying Lawn Fawn stamps. So I'm going to be using Say Cheese and Say Cheese 2. Now I am speeding through this video. I know that it's really fast. However, it would be really long if I didn't speed it up. So I did speed it up quite a bit. And I do apologize for those who really would like to see it just a tiny bit slower. Unfortunately, I don't think you probably want to sit through a 30-minute or so video, how-to video, so I hope this still gives you a very good idea of what I'm doing. I'm inking up that Polaroid stamp with the, I think it's Spun Sugar from Jenny Bolin. It's a really nice brown dye ink. And I'm just stamping 12 of these frames on some cardstock, as you see here, and then I'm going to simply cut them out. Now that opening for those Polaroid frames is about 2.5 inches square. So I resized my photos and I printed all of them out on a single sheet of 8.5 by 11 photo paper. And for anybody who is curious, I do use an Epson printer and I use Epson photo paper as well. So I just cut all of those photos to 2.5 inches square. And now I'm going to cut my background papers to 4 inches long, 4 inches by 12. So I'm just cutting a couple of strips of those. You can see I've already die cut my elements for the silhouette there, my title and a branch. So I'm just going to kind of lay everything back out. I've also already adhered my photos inside those little Polaroid stamped frames. I really like how that frames up the photos, and it does look like one of those little instant photos that you may take with the Instax camera or something like that. So I'm simply going to add a few more pattern paper strips that I've also cut to 4 inches wide by 12 inches long. Move all that stuff out of the way. And I'm just going to lay everything out. I'm not going to adhere anything yet because I'm still kind of working out where everything will fit. The cloud paper is from Jelly Bean Soup, and I didn't show that at the beginning of the video. That was kind of a pattern paper choice that I pulled after I had started. And I got to thinking I thought it would be cute to have some clouds up there above the tree branch. I'm also going to use that little boy sticker with the airplane from Echo Park. But I need to make sure I attach all my background papers first. So now I'm ready to start adhering everything. And that kind of did make the process a little lengthier by laying everything out and making sure I like it before I adhere anything and then having to remove it all and put it back on. So I apologize for that, but that's how I work. Is I always like to lay it out first before I adhere too much and then decide I don't like that. This is about a 1.25 inch strip by 12, just a scrap from an Echo Park Little Boy paper and a real tiny thin red strip of paper, also from the Echo Park Little Boy collection. And I'm just putting that on the end of the left side of the layout. Where this is a two-page layout, this is a lot of times I like to try to frame it up a little bit or just make it not seem quite so long, I guess. The more layers and things you can add to it, the less barren the layout will seem, especially if you're used to working in a smaller one-page format. I did use some spray adhesive on all of my letters here. Just makes it easier to attach them. And I'm just laying them above that tree branch. You could achieve the same look with lots of different die cutting machines. I did use the Silhouette. The branch and the title are both designs from the Silhouette store. They're not a font, but you could also use fonts that you have to create a similar title. Just going to glue on some leaves real quick. And you can see as I start attaching things how nice it's starting to come together, and you can kind of see the finished result. I'm going to go ahead and place that sticker there. Thought it tied in nicely with the theme of the page. Grab one of those little stars. I thought it would be cute to take the Say Cheese 2 Lawn Fawn stamp set, which has all of these great dates and the months on there and numbers and all kinds of cute little phrases, and stamp the one of the numbers on this star. So this is his 3-month picture. Or a picture from when he was 3 months old. My son was 3 months old. So I stamped that on the star and placed that on the bottom of the Polaroid frame. I'm not going to do that for all of the Polaroid frames, but I'm going to just kind of do it here and there to add a touch, for a couple of reasons. It adds a touch of color to the white frames and kind of helps break up all that kind of white color for all of the frames. And number two, it adds an embellishment very easily. It's not a whole lot, and it's not big and bulky, and it just kind of adds a little pop of color. So I'm also taking a little bit of the American Crafts tape and kind of taping up my photos. You can see there on the one photo in the bottom right corner, I've already added a little bit. I'm going to grab some more here. And it just looks like I'm taping up the Polaroid frames. You wouldn't have to do that. You could use clips or all kinds of things. I'm trying to decide what I like the best there, but I think I'll leave it at the top. I just think it's kind of a fun look and makes it a little bit more less linear, where so many of the elements on this page are really linear and lined up. I kind of tilted some of the photos, and the torn pieces of tape kind of add to that fun look. So there you can see another one of those little stars that I stamped on. And I'm going to grab a little star sticker from one of the Jelly Bean Soup sets and just place another little star accent there on the frame for fun. I'm going to take the scallop border sticker from the Echo Park Little Boy sticker sheet and just adhere it along the right side of my layout and page. I cut a 3/4 inch by 12-inch strip from the red paper from the Little Boy collection, one of the solids, and adhered it along the right edge. Another tip is where the left side is wider, I wanted to go a little bit narrower on the right side, just kind of, it looks nice to my eye. You could cut them the same width and kind of frame up your page that way. I tend to kind of go with different widths of paper, just for a different and more, like I said, whimsical or fun feel. Added the rest of my title, again with spray adhesive, and now I'm going to go ahead and adhere the rest of my photos, tape them up, add the stamping as I go, stars here and there for a few of them. Again, those are punch outs from the Jelly Bean Soup new die cut collection, or that match their new collections. I'll lay out the rest of my photos. I've got several here. And I like to kind of curl the edges of the Polaroid frames to kind of make them look a little bit more worn, like you've touched them a lot and picked them up and looked through them. I just kind of think it's a fun look. You definitely wouldn't have to do that. Finishing up adding the rest of my photos. I'm going to grab a couple more little star sticker accents, decide where to place those kind of randomly about on the page. I'm going to go ahead and add 3 there, just to give a nice random fun look, and plus it adds little bits of color here and there. I printed my journaling just on a scrap of light blue solid from the Echo Park Little Boy collection. I'm going to place it down there in the bottom right corner. Add a jelly bean soup die cut behind that. And then I'm going to punch a quick border with my Fiskars border punch, just from this yellow stripe Echo Park Little Boy paper. Trim a thin strip from it. I wanted to add just a touch of yellow paper to the design. So I'm going to place it there. I'm just going to trim each end at an angle. I don't want it to be the full 12 inches long. So that looks cute. I'm going to add some adhesive and then I'll just tuck it back right there along that side. And I really think that adds a nice touch of color to that border over there. Okay, these are some little sticker buttons from Jelly Bean Soup, and I'm just going to take some clear buttons that I have and adhere them right over that by sewing them in place. So it makes you have a colorful button with a paper or sticker button, but you can make it look more dimensional with a clear button on top. So I'm just picking out the rest of those, trying to decide. I thought I might put a smaller one over there, and then I thought that didn't really work. So I'm going to stick with the 2 bigger ones down there on the bottom of this page. And I'm going to punch a circle with a circle punch out of that yellow stripe paper and add just a touch of it there over on the right side of the layout to tie in with that punched border. Staple my journaling in place. And then I'll go ahead and I was trying to figure out where I wanted to add this cute little mini tag that says I love you. I'm going to take that tiny small button, sticker button from before, and place it over there near the journaling, and place a smaller clear button over the top of it and go ahead and sew that in place. So just poke my holes and thread it through, and then I'll tie that in a quick bow. And then I'll go ahead and sew those other 2 buttons on the left side of the layout. Just sewing those clear buttons right over these sticker ones. And then I'll just tie them off on the back of the page into a knot. I'm going to use my tiny attacher just to attach that red border really secure along that edge there. Just staple it a couple times, sewing my other button on. Tie it in a knot in the back of the page, and those buttons will be done. And I just have a few additional things. I'm going to add a little bit of some yellow and white baker's twine tied around one of the photos, and I'm going to just thread that cute little Jelly Bean Soup tag that says I love you on there. Tie it to the photo. Thought it added just a nice fun little embellishment. I didn't want to copy that a lot throughout the page. I thought that might be too much, but just a small little touch here or there kind of helps. The ribbon helps, or not ribbon, but the baker's twine kind of softens it and just adds a fun little touch and pop of color. Tying on or sewing on one more button on the other side now. I felt like the area where the journaling was needed just a little touch of something, so I sewed on another button over a sticker button. It's a paper piercer to add a couple of brads to finish the layout. I also added a sticker up there above the word weed. It was from a Jelly Bean Soup sticker set. So for more information on this layout plus the supplies I used, please visit 2peasinabucket.com from start to finish videos on March 9th, 2011. Thanks for watching.